line with a fork and 1, 2, 3 dots. Bloody infernal. How was anyone meant to read this garbage? What are you doing? I suppose it couldn't hurt.
The jagged script is definitely infernal, a language you know all too well. The lines describe oaths and the fires below, but the language is fragmented and strange. This is just a piece of a larger text.
And? What does it say? Infernal pact. But not even the whole text. What was that bastard up to? More dangerous than you thought, perhaps. I never had any doubt. But if this is part of a contract, it must be powerful, or valuable, or both. What have I run off with? I wasn't his only spawn, and he tortured us all. I imagine each of us are carrying a piece of this infernal contract. But what could a devil have offered Cazador? He had wealth, power, control. What more could you want? Thank you, by the way. This is... well, it's something. Will we? How sweet. I suppose you want to hear about Cazador. My old master. Before the Mind Flayers took me from him. Before this strange, twisted freedom. Cazador Szar is a vampire lord in Baldur's Gate. The patriarch of his coven, and a monster obsessed with power. Not political power or military power, I mean power over people. The power to control them completely. He turned me nearly 200 years ago. I became his spawn, and he became my tormentor. Not him, no. A gang of thugs attacked me, angry about a ruling that I'd handed down as magistrate. They beat me to death's door when Cazador appeared. He chased them off and offered to save me, to give me eternal life. Given that my choices were eternal life or bleed to death on the street, I took him up on the offer. It was only afterwards I realized just how long eternity could be. He had me go out into Baldur's Gate to fetch him the most beautiful souls I could find. It was a fun little ritual of his. I'd bring them back, and he'd ask if I wanted to dine with him. And if I said yes, he'd serve me a dead, putrid rat. Of course, if I said no, he'd have me flayed. Hard to say which was worse. Thank you. But this isn't about sympathy. It's about knowing what we might be up against. The Mind Flayers aren't the only monsters out there, and they might not be the only ones hunting us. All I'm asking is that you keep your eyes open and watch out for anything lurking in the shadows. What more could I ask? Now, is that all? I've already apologized. What more do you want? Unless you're looking for another nibble. Maybe. But there won't be any more midnight surprises. I can promise you that. My sweet, there is nothing I'd like more. I'll come to you tonight. When you're snugly wrapped in your bedroll, and we can have a little privacy. And this time, I'll make sure I'm quiet. We don't want to disturb your rest. Later on, when we are at rest, I will eat you right up. Just enough to give me strength, and just enough to leave you wishing for more. Why do you insist on exhuming the past? I was a slave. A vampire spawn. Kept by the Tsar family. Perhaps I still am. I was never able to resist their commands. But now, I've been conveniently lost. They won't ever control me again. It's simple. Just find a vampire that will drink your blood and turn you into a vampire spawn. Their obedient puppet. In theory, the next step is to drink their blood. Once you've done that, you're free and a true vampire. Yes and no. The problem is, once you're a vampire spawn, they completely control you. They have to allow you to bite them. And why would they do that? Vampires are power-hungry creatures. They won't lose a servant to create a competitor. Trust me, it doesn't happen. Who knows? Drow? Mind flayers? Death? Hopefully not ours. But maybe answers, if we can convince the right people to talk.
You recognize the feathered creature. It's the owlbear cub you rescued. The cub's eyes lock onto the food in your hand. The creature gulps the food down. It seems he hasn't eaten in some time.
What a delectable little pet. Oh, now look. You've scared off the little snack.